The rest stop sat 20 miles outside the city, a concrete island in an ocean of darkness. Most drivers stopped for 5 minutes, used the bathroom, grabbed coffee, stretched their legs, then back on the highway. They never noticed the man mopping the floors, never saw the way his eyes tracked every vehicle that pulled in, never realized that the quiet janitor in the blue coveralls had spent 2 decades hunting the most dangerous fugitives in America. And tonight, a young woman running for her life was about to discover that the safest person in that building was the one everyone ignored. Before we dive into this story of instinct, protection, and what happens when a predator chooses the wrong hunting ground, tell me in the comments from which city are you watching this video today. And if you believe that guardian angels sometimes wear janitor uniforms, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will show you that the most dangerous people don't always look dangerous. And sometimes, neither do the most capable. His name was Vincent Torres, 63 years old, 5'10", stocky build that had once been solid muscle but had softened with age and too many late-night vending machine dinners. His hair was gray, cut short and practical. His hands were calloused from 20 years of mopping floors and cleaning bathrooms. He wore the standard maintenance uniform, blue coveralls with a name patch, steel-toed boots, yellow rubber gloves tucked in his back pocket, a radio clipped to his belt that connected him to the rest stop manager and highway patrol dispatch. Nothing about him suggested danger. Nothing hinted at the career that had defined most of his adult life. Vincent had joined the U.S. Marshal service in 1982. Started in court security, protecting judges, managing prisoners during transport. Standard work, but Vincent had a gift. He could read people, not their words, their movements, the way they shifted weight, the direction their eyes moved, the micro-expressions that flashed across faces before conscious thought could hide them. By 1985, he transferred to fugitive operations. The Marshal's service hunts federal fugitives, escaped prisoners, parole violators, people who've committed federal crimes and disappeared. It's not glamorous work. No car chases, no shootouts, just patience, investigation, surveillance, and the ability to spot someone who's running when everyone else sees someone who belongs. Vincent was exceptional at it. Over 20 years, he'd personally apprehended 347 fugitives, violent offenders, white-collar criminals, people who thought they'd disappeared forever. He found them in grocery stores, sitting in church pews, working construction jobs under fake names. He developed an instinct, a sixth sense for when something was wrong, when someone didn't fit, when danger was present even if he couldn't see it yet. He'd retired in 2002. Full pension, commendations, offers to consult, train new agents. Vincent had declined everything because retirement wasn't the problem. The hypervigilance was. After 20 years of hunting people, Vincent couldn't turn it off. Every stranger was a potential threat. Every interaction a puzzle to solve. Every public space a tactical problem. His wife had left in 2004. Couldn't live with someone who was always watching, always analyzing, always somewhere else mentally. His kids called twice a year, Christmas and his birthday. Obligatory, distant. Vincent lived alone in a small apartment near the highway. And 5 years ago, he'd taken the job at the rest stop. Night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. cleaning bathrooms, mopping floors, restocking paper towels. Simple work, quiet, and most importantly, it kept him around people without requiring him to engage. He could watch, monitor, stay alert, without anyone expecting him to explain why. The Restocked manager, a woman named Janitor in her 50s, thought Vincent was odd but reliable. He never missed a shift, never complained, did his work thoroughly, and occasionally he'd mention things. A light out in the parking lot, a broken security camera, a suspicious vehicle that had been parked too long. Janet had learned to trust Vincent's observations because he was always right. What she didn't know was that Vincent wasn't just observing. He was protecting. Every night, he tracked every vehicle that entered, noted license plates, watched for patterns, people who arrived but didn't use the facilities, vehicles that circled the lot, cars that backed into spaces instead of pulling forward. Most of it was nothing. Tired truckers, lost tourists, travelers stretching road trip legs. But sometimes, Vincent's instinct screamed. And tonight, at 1:47 a.m., they were screaming. The silver sedan had pulled in 20 minutes ago, parked near the back, away from the lights, engine running, driver still inside, male, late 30s, ball cap, watching the entrance. Vincent had noticed immediately. He'd keyed his radio. "Janet, we got a vehicle rear lot. Silver sedan. Plate number." He'd rattled off the number. Janet's voice came back. "You want me to call Highway Patrol?" "Not yet. Just watching." Vincent had continued his work, mopping the men's bathroom, but positioning himself where he could see the parking lot through the windows. The sedan hadn't moved. Driver hadn't gotten out, just sitting, watching. Then, at 1:53 a.m., a second vehicle arrived. Small SUV, drove past the sedan, parked near the entrance. Engine off, door opened. Young woman stepped out, mid-20s, professional clothes, moving quickly but trying not to look rushed. She glanced back at the silver sedan, then hurried toward the building. Vincent's instincts went into overdrive. He set down the mop, moved to the entrance. The woman pushed through the door. Her hands were shaking, eyes wide, breathing fast. She headed straight for the women's bathroom. Vincent stepped into a path, gently, non-threatening. "You okay?" She stopped, looked at him. The janitor, just a maintenance guy, her eyes filled with tears. I think someone's following me." Vincent's voice stayed calm. "Professional. How long?" She swallowed. "Since the city. 40 miles. I thought maybe I was paranoid, but it's still there. He pulled into the lot right after me." Vincent glanced out the window. The sedan was still there. Driver watching. "Okay," Vincent said quietly. "You're safe now. Come with me." She hesitated. "Where?" "My office. There's a back exit, and I need to make a call." She followed him, through the maintenance corridor, past cleaning supplies and electrical panels, to a small office that most visitors never knew existed. Vincent gestured to a chair. "Sit. Lock the door after I leave. Don't open it for anyone but me or a highway patrol officer." She was crying now. "Who are you?" Vincent pulled out his phone. "Someone who's dealt with situations like this before. Stay here." He left, locked the door from outside, then walked back to the main area. Calm, unhurried, just a janitor doing his job. He picked up the mop, continued cleaning near the windows. The silver sedan was still there, but now the driver's door was opening. Man stepping out. Same ball cap, dark jacket, hands in pockets. Walking toward the building, Vincent keyed his radio. "Janet, call Highway Patrol now. Code 3. Possible stalking situation. Female victim secured in maintenance office. Male suspect entering building." Janet's voice was sharp. "Copy. Calling now. ETA 12 minutes. Vincent thought fast. 12 minutes was a long time. The man entered the building, looked around, scanned the seating area, the vending machines, the women's bathroom. His eyes landed on Vincent. Mopping. Invisible. "Excuse me," the man said. Voice friendly. Too friendly. "You see a woman come in here? Young. Dark hair." Vincent kept mopping. "Yeah. Went to the bathroom, I think." The man nodded. "Thanks." He walked toward the women's bathroom. Waited outside. Vincent continued working, but he positioned himself between the bathroom and the exit, and he pulled his phone from his pocket, opened the camera app, started recording. 3 minutes passed. The man knocked on the bathroom door. No answer. He knocked again. Harder. No response. Because the woman wasn't in there. She was safe in the office. But the man didn't know that. He tried the door. Locked. He turned. Scanned the building again. Saw Vincent. "Hey, old man, you sure she went in there?" Vincent stopped mopping. Looked at him directly. "That's what I saw." The man's jaw tightened. "Where else could she go?" Vincent shrugged. "Don't know. I just clean." The man's friendly mask slipped. His hands came out of his pockets. One held a phone. The other, Vincent noticed, had fresh scratches. Defensive wounds. From someone fighting back. "Listen," the man said, stepping closer. "I need to find her. It's important." Vincent's voice stayed level. "If she's not in the bathroom, she probably left." The man shook his head. "Her car's still outside, so she's here." Vincent set down the mop, pulled off his gloves. Slowly. "Sir, I'm going to need you to calm down." The man laughed. "You're going to need me? You a janitor?" Vincent's eyes went cold. "I used to be other things." The man stopped laughing. In the distance, sirens, faint but approaching. The man heard them. His expression changed. Panic, calculation. He bolted for the exit. Vincent moved. Not fast, not dramatic, just positioning. He kicked the mop bucket into the man's path. The man stumbled, caught himself, but Vincent was already there. Decades of training, muscle memory. He grabbed the man's wrist, twisted, applied pressure to the radial nerve. The man's hand opened. Phone clattered to the floor. Vincent swept his leg. The man went down. Hard. Vincent's knee went to his back. Arm locked behind him. Perfect control hold. "Stay down." The man struggled. Vincent applied more pressure. The man screamed. Vincent's voice was ice. "I said stay down. You can breathe. You can't move." That's intentional. The sirens were louder now. Lights flashing through the windows. Highway patrol pulling into the lot. 4 units. Officers exiting. Weapons drawn. Vincent didn't move. Didn't release. Just waited. An officer entered. Weapon up. Saw Vincent holding the man down. U.S. Marshal service. Vincent said calmly. Retired. This man was stalking a woman. She secured in the maintenance office. Back corridor. Second door on the left. The officer lowered his weapon slightly. Your Marshal was 20 years. This is a clean apprehension. He's not injured, but he's got defensive wounds on his right hand. Victim probably scratched him. Two officers moved to secure the suspect. Vincent released him, stood slowly, his knees protesting. The officer in charge approached. "Sir, I'm Sergeant Miller. Can you walk me through what happened?" Vincent did. Calmly, methodically, the sedan, the woman, the pursuit into the building, the attempted access to the bathroom, the phone recording, the apprehension. Sergeant Miller took notes, then said, "You recorded it?" Vincent handed him the phone. Whole thing, from the moment he entered. Miller watched, then looked at Vincent with new respect. "So, you just gave us ironclad evidence, and you executed a textbook fugitive apprehension." Vincent shrugged. Old habits. They brought the woman out. She saw Vincent, ran to him, hugged him. "Thank you. Thank you. You saved my life." Vincent patted her shoulder awkwardly. "You're safe now. That's what matters." Sergeant Miller pulled Vincent aside. "Sir, we ran the suspect. He's got 2 outstanding warrants. One for stalking, one for assault, both in different states. You just caught a federal fugitive." Vincent smiled slightly. "Told you. Old habits." The woman gave a statement. The suspect was arrested, transported. The scene was processed, and Vincent returned to mopping, like nothing had happened. Janet found him an hour later. "Vincent, the highway patrol called. They want to commend you." Vincent kept mopping. "Don't need commendation. Just doing what needed doing." She stared at him. "You were a U.S. Marshal." Vincent nodded. "Long time ago. Why didn't you ever tell me?" Vincent looked at her. "Because it's not who I am anymore. I'm a janitor." She shook her head. "No, you're not. You're still protecting people, just differently." Vincent thought about that, then said, "Maybe." Over the following days, the story spread. Local news picked it up. Former U.S. Marshal working as janitor stops fugitive, saves woman from stalker. Vincent declined every interview, every recognition, every request to appear on camera. He just kept working. Same shift, same routine, but something had changed. The hypervigilance that had destroyed his marriage and distanced his kids, it had a purpose again. He wasn't hunting anymore. He was protecting, and maybe that was enough. 2 weeks later, Vincent was mopping when a man in a suit entered. Federal agent. Vincent recognized the bearing immediately. Deputy Marshal Torres. The man extended credentials. "Deputy Marshal Carson. I work fugitive operations." Vincent nodded. "What can I do for you?" Carson smiled. "Actually, I'm here to ask what we can do for you." Vincent waited. Carson continued. "We've been tracking that suspect for 8 months. 3 states. Multiple victims. You caught him in under an hour." Vincent shrugged. "Right place. Right time." Carson shook his head. "Right instincts. Right training. And would like to bring those instincts back. Consulting basis. Part-time. Train our new deputies. Show them what you showed us." Vincent hesitated. "I'm retired." "You observing," Carson corrected. "Every night. Watching. Protecting. Why not formalize it? Help us teach the next generation." Vincent thought about it, then said, "Let me consider it." Carson left his card. Vincent pocketed it. That night, he called his daughter. First time in 6 months. They talked, really talked, about his career, his retirement, his struggle to turn off the instincts. She listened, then said something that surprised him. "Dad, you were never meant to turn it off. You were meant to find a new way to use it." Vincent thought about the woman he'd saved. The fugitive he'd caught. The purpose he'd rediscovered. Maybe you're right. 3 months later, Vincent still worked at the rest stop. Same shift, same uniform. But now, twice a month, he traveled to the Marshal's Service Training Academy, taught classes on fugitive recognition, surveillance techniques, protective operations. The new deputies called him legend. Vincent just called himself a janitor who paid attention, because that's what heroes do. They don't need titles, don't need recognition. They just show up, watch, protect, and when the moment comes, they act. So now I ask you, have you ever been helped by someone you underestimated? Have you ever discovered that the quiet person in the background was the most capable in the room? Have you ever learned that protection doesn't announce itself? Write about it in the comments. Share the names of the people who watched over you when you didn't know you needed watching. Because stories like Vincent's remind us that guardian angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they have mop buckets. And the most important work is often done by people nobody notices, until the moment everything depends on them. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, honor the protectors who serve in silence. We'll see you in the next one.